Um, and so it's important for me to get involved and participate bring a perspective to the board. So I think recreation, balancing natural needs with human needs is really important. And so I'm excited to be a part of this process and work with the amazing group that's been appointed to this board. There's a lot of heavy power hitters around the table. So
great, thank you. How about if we switch to Zoom intros and then we can ask folks to mute after they introduce themselves. Mo, do you want to go first?
Excuse me?
Do you want to go first? So we're just doing the quick introductions, who you are in your area of interest in terms of the board, being on the committee.
I have to tell you, the video is good, but the sound is not, so I can't get all that is being said.
Right now on the microphone.
Okay. Do you want to message him on Zoom? That we're asking him to
And then just continue.
do, yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Sure. I'm Diane Cohen. I've lived in the town of Ulysses for 22 years. I live on Fair City Road in Jacksonville. But I fell in love with this area because I bartended at the Mongolian Embassy throughout the entire 1990s. And it's really, my day job now is I'm the executive director of Finger Lakes Reuse, and I call the Rongo my gateway to nonprofit work. I was an art major at Ithaca College. That's what brought me to the area. I'm a New Yorker. I grew up in outside of Albany, and been here. I've been in this area for 38 years or something. But I don't have a background in planning. I have to do planning as part of my job. We've done a lot of reacting for the last 15 years at Finger Lakes Reuse as people bring us more and more and more each year. And this year I've been really forced to get in there. This last year I've been forced to get into a looking ahead process for a bunch of reasons, namely that the world is changing so rapidly that how materials are managed. There's a real demand, especially from an environmental perspective, to do things significantly differently than the recycling that we've done that used to be progressive for the last 30 years. So I'm not here with that agenda. I'm here as a community resident that is really interested in learning what a good planning process looks like, how can I participate. So I kind of consider myself a generalist. I'm glad to be among so many people who are driven by this, want to help community, and I'm glad to join you today.
All right, awesome. So Mo, I don't know if you can hear me, but I think Neil sent you a message in the chat.
You want me to introduce myself?
Yeah, so a little background in your area of focus.
Yeah, my name is Mo Klein. I'm a member of the Ulysses Planning Board. Over the years, I've done 2 master plans, you call them steering committees, in other states. Otherwise, I'm retired. That's about it.
All right. I think that covers everybody, right, for our introductions of the board members. And we can move on to operational items. Okay, so our first item.
No, I just was going to say that I don't know if it's helpful to put the agenda. The agenda is not what anymore.
Yeah, I couldn't find it.
Yeah, it just says it's been taken down or something, so it's not there. So
I think once the meeting starts, there might be some sort of change that happens.
I mean, it might not matter, but just
No, I appreciate that.
follow the law.
If Niels is able to pull that up, it'd be great to have that. Thank you for noticing that.
I also was wondering if we move the mic away from the fan, would that help with the audio? You could also try using it.
I believe the internal microphone is using Zoom, and this is recording the audio separately.
All right, so Niels is going to try to pull up, or Molly, someone's going to try to pull up the agenda so that everyone can see it.
That's off the website though. It's not. I don't know how to send a PDF to that computer. Is one on an actual server or can this get onto the server? Mhm.
I don't know if that can, are you using my computer or your? I don't know, are you using my computer? My computer can get on the server.
Yeah, yep.
So one thing that I did forget to mention that is of note with regard to this whole process is that the town Ulysses also has another committee currently that's working on a source water development, source water protection plan, working with the New York Rural Water Association. And so that really, the timing really dovetails well with this.
Yeah.
Because it helps with, planning, and it helps with knowing about our water resources. And Rebecca and I are both on that. So
Okay.
there's overlap there with that.
Thank you. All right, well, while you guys are, seeing if we can get the agenda pulled up, do you guys want me to just run through what's on the agenda?
I've got it up in front of me, I'm all right.
Okay.
Do you need a copy?
I would love a copy. I looked at it, but I don't have any with help.
Yeah, I had a hard copy. I was out of town until very recently, so I, yes,
I'm in the waiting room, so if you let me in, I can just right there. I can take you a photo.
It does help. All right, so, yeah, yep, here we go. All right, so we're moving on to our next item, which is operational recording in progress.
The agenda is coming up for me on the website.
All right, so those who are on Zoom may need to mute, or you might have to, if we gotta do that, you might have to mute those. It's not talking. So we're on to operational items, meeting schedule. So what we need to do here is decide on regular times and days if we can to meet. I think the objective of this group is to meet once a month. Sometimes a meeting may be called if needed, and in addition to that, but it would be great to find a time that is consistent, for us. And I'm uncertain whether or not we're going to be able to do that. So I think that's what we need to discuss. I think, Niels, did you send the list of what's available to everyone? I'm not sure what everybody knows in terms of availability at this point.
I just sent that to you, but in general, Wednesdays, if I recall, it looks like Wednesdays are the best days, as long as it's not the third Wednesday. of the
Okay.
week. Mondays are complicated with court. Tuesdays are a no-go because of planning commission or planning board and town board. Third Wednesdays, PDA. Rebecca, I believe, has conflicts with Thursday.
I teach on Thursdays until 7, but I only have 1, 2, 3, count 3 more of those.
And then Fridays are probably just more complicated with the town or
Sure. People.
public and
Yeah.
to Friday evening. Yeah.
So I don't know if we want to try to pick a time right now that's would be routine or regular, or what time of day works best for people.
So I work over for now, so 5 o'clock is tough.
5 o'clock is tough.
If I just even make it 6, just getting here and, with responsibilities over there, but do other people have job restrictions like that? I mean, if I'm the only one, I'll just get here as soon as I can.
Anyone?
I work from home, so.
Yeah, so you work at home?
Yeah.
Okay, so I work at home also, but I also do teach it sometimes in the evenings, and that does vary. If I know I'm having a meeting, I can work around it. But I do think my May class is on Wednesday. Oh, wait. That's not on Tuesday, so I could do at least probably the next couple months on Wednesdays. Oh, what's your?
My schedule's ridiculous, but it can be Friday. So I don't have anything regular on Wednesday, other than a Chamber of Commerce social thing, but it's not a priority.
Okay,
Which Wednesday are we talking about?
well, not the third, so,
The CSAC, the Conservation Sustainability's regular meeting is the first Wednesday.
so now we're talking second or fourth.
Unless it depends on the timing is too, but that one changes between 4:30 and 7, whether we're in person or not, so.
Okay.
um,
So it's gonna be maybe 6 or 6:30. Because I think if we're getting,
I only have 2 more of those. so
getting
there's-
there, only 3 more.
Yeah, that's it.
But for the next 3 months, yeah,
The next month, I mean, this won't even impact that too much.
yeah, just 6 o'clock. Do we want to go, or we can go meeting by meeting. We can decide each meeting what we want to do for the next month.
I'm getting that. I mean,
It's probably helpful to have a certain.
We can have a set one, and then just if something comes up randomly every month, we can just talk about it. at the
Yeah.
meeting,
Okay.
plan ahead.
Second or fourth Wednesday? Okay. All right,
so wait, what is the date on that? Just because I have.
May 10th.
so
May
second
10th?
Wednesday would be May
We can do that.
10th. And we're gonna say 6 PM for now. Do we want to, I mean, we'll just maybe go with that and give it a test run for 3 months or something, and then we can, until we get done with that. I have class in June on Wednesdays, but I will see if I can change that. June 21st and then July 19th.
That's the second Tuesday?
I'm sorry,
Wednesday?
second, 12th.
Wait. So
June
this again?
14th. Sorry, I'm thinking. So, May 10th, June 14th, July 12th. Right? Okay. 6 PM, and then this room,
No, hopefully they'll be downstairs.
okay, so this building.
Town hall, yeah, down in the
Okay.
courtroom.
So town hall somewhere, okay. Oops. Okay, do we need to have any further discussion on that? Is it good to talk about 3 months and then, you know, we'll see if that continues, if that works, going forward. Okay. So, do I have a motion to set Wednesdays, second Wednesdays at 6 PM as the comprehensive plan steering committee regular scheduled meeting date unless otherwise decided upon those.
Make a motion, Rebecca.
Thank you, Rebecca. There we go. Diana seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay. So the next item is the draft committee rules. Did everyone get a chance to see the draft
No, just that.
committee rules? Okay. So there is a draft document,
Only one.
Thank you.
which
So online.
Yes, I would think so. Yeah, take it.
so we can take a look at this right now. Or we can agree to table it until the next meeting. And have a little more time to review.
The other thing about public involvement, are we gonna do like some kind of survey? To get, broader than just who happens to show up at these meetings? Or that's just something we'll decide?
I think we decide that as a committee. Do
Okay.
you want to comment on that?
You're talking about just general public surveys that'll be going out for input.
Yeah, I mean, it's public, like, we're gonna have, like, they come and they, I forget the term for it, or something, but when they come and they see displays and they give you opinions and stuff, I mean, it seems like we want to emphasize transparency and engagement, and this public involvement here just says something about, having them come and sit and 15 minutes, they can talk or something. But it seems to me that should be a big piece of what we do, but maybe we'll come up with how we would do that as a discussion.
I think that'll be part of working with our consultant, while we hosting the right things. I think this is just for the purposes of these types of business meetings.
Okay, got it.
But I completely agree with you. I think that's the intention, is to have lots of public.
Thank
engagement.
you.
So any other discussion on the draft committee rules, any changes, any additions, any concerns?
I was just gonna say, I think it'd be good to be able to articulate remote attendance being a possibility also, because obviously Mo was doing it that way. There'll definitely be times where work schedules or health schedules may not enable us to attend, and it keeps everything moving forward pretty efficiently to allow that remote option as well.
I would agree on that one.
Okay, so is that, who will add that? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just, I was just gonna say, I had that legal question with Nate, and he felt that since it's one of the town boards, it was incorporated with all boards and committees, but for ease of transparency, I'll have that.
Right, yeah, because the town board sets what's allowed to happen, but I bet for transparency in here, because I wouldn't want someone to be like, well, they didn't attend because they weren't attending in person. I mean,
It does say that quorum can be met in person or via video conference. Under quorum.
Okay, well, that, if you could just add that in, I mean,
oh,
I
yes,
think
I
we're
missed
just
that part.
say
I was looking
more
at
than
attendance.
once too, so I think that would be great. If you don't mind. Roxanne, do you want to add something?
I just was, so that's, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be an extraordinary circumstance or something to vote the way it is with the town board.
No.
It's just coming in, you're participating now. I just was
Yeah,
wondering just
It-
because of that difference.
yeah, because this is an advisory
Right.
committee, so
Just clarifying.
no power within to itself.
Any other questions, concerns, additions, changes, things you want to talk about with the draft committee rules? Are we all good?
There's a lot of X's in here.
Yeah.
Are we trying to make those decisions today? Or are we gonna think about it and have everybody kind of think about what roles they want to take and decide next month? So like, it looks like the vice chairperson
Yeah, and that is the next topic on our agenda.
and then the commit, yeah, okay. Yeah, then
So
the
not picking our consultant tonight.
No, I know that's
Okay.
not, I know that's not on the table yet. And then the committee spokesperson in terms of representing the public questions. And then the only other thing I was just going to ask is if we have additions, could we just add them? There's nothing that needs to be like stated here. If we have additional members to like the CPSC, like I'm still trying to get an ag representative.
Yeah, that will just be added by town board resolution. There.
So, filling in the X's, what does that normally happen?
Yeah. Right, so for example, if the committee approves the rules and the next item is the vice chair and you appoint a chair, I can just put that in. Same thing with the adoption date. And
There's a meeting date, so yeah, the spokesperson.
All right, so Niels will add that, information in. Okay. Anything else with that? Okay, so we do need a motion to approve the committee rules as they are.
Sure.
Thank you, Rebecca. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. And all of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And all those, anyone against? Okay, great. Next item, vice chair. So this group does need a vice chair. And I don't know, Niels, if this is a great time to talk about this. I don't know if it's vice chair or co-chair, so I am currently the chair. I am coming into a very busy season. So I have every intention of being here, but you know, life happens. So I think a vice chair is important, or a co-chair, and to me, I don't think it doesn't matter if it's one or the other. Maybe it needs to be one or the other, and you guys can tell me that. But we should discuss and nominate. So we open that discussion. Anybody have any ideas or thoughts or?
I'll just say I'm not going to because I'm so overcommitted at Cornell right now. It's like I'm hanging on.
So nobody please nominate Rebecca.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay,
Later, look at easier.
yeah, any other?
I think it would be a vice chair position. The town board appointed you as chair, and so we can't really internally without the town board doing that also, to appoint that person also as chair. So I think vice chair is a lot simpler,
Okay,
but for all practical purposes, in your absence, could run the meeting.
okay.
Yeah, I think you just work, because you're the person and it could help you, you know,
Yeah,
on other committees that you have those sometimes.
yeah. So how do people normally pick a vice chair? Do people volunteer? Do we have any volunteers? And so then,
Except for Rebecca.
so then somebody has to nominate somebody.
I'm due if there's nobody else, but.
I would nominate Mo, although Mo, do you hear me?
If you can hear.
Yep, I can hear you.
He was enthusiastic about joining this group. And I think you're doing a great job on the planning board, and he has a lot of environmental background. What do you think about me nominating, and he's very organized and thoughtful? What do you think about being vice chair?
I would rather not.
Okay, I tried.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Diane, would you be interested in willing to do it with a lot of support from the town?
I'm honored, but I also feel a little overextended, and I would love to get a little feel for this. But I would like to make the attendance requirements. That's my goal. And if I, so I think we should kindly maybe take Roxanne up on her offer, and I would love to observe and see how things go.
Okay.
That'd be my sense, unless someone else is interested.
Liz, do you want to say any words?
I'm just thinking. I'm not against it.
That's a yes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just kidding. Yeah, tell us
Yeah.
your thoughts.
I just, still getting used to the town board, but sure, I can do it.
Okay, I appreciate that. Once a person is appointed to a chair, are they vice chair, are they forever vice? Is there like a legal, or like a
No.
process that has to happen for her? Or if 3 months from now, she's like, too much, they could be rotated?
It's not a position the town board created, so I
Okay.
would say that it's probably at the discretion of this group at
Okay,
this point.
can we,
So,
is it fair to say, like, we just made 3 months of dates? Can
Oh,
we,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
when we'll check in
Okay.
after that and see how you're feeling about it, and if it's,
Yeah,
we need to rotate it around, we could do that. Okay, is that
that
fair?
works. And Roxanne, I know you've had experience, so definitely looking for some help from you on this.
Thank you, Roxanne. Also.
One being the chair, one.
I know you vice chair, but no, I know
Yeah.
who you are.
But they dovetail into this one, so if no one else would do it, I'd be happy to help you, but I'm happy to help you third level.
I think that would be great, and then you don't.
Yeah,
have
that's-
everything on your
No,
plate.
it's good.
Yeah, I think that sounds great.
so the leadership phone tree.
Yeah, exactly.
Only you can do it.
Right,
That's right.
we can all just.
Everyone just call Roxanne.
It's fine, no, I'm happy to help when I'm
I
happy.
appreciate that very much. Okay, so, I guess I make a motion to nominate, Liz.
Second.
Sorry.
You got it.
Do I make the motion? No, someone else has to make a motion.
You can.
I can motion. So, and Rebecca seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Great, congratulations, Liz.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay. So for the next couple of items, we are talking about tracking of hours. So, part of, I guess, I don't know if you want to explain this, Neil, maybe you might explain it better than, or maybe Michelle. But I guess we have to track hours that we put into this as a committee. And so how we're going to do that, we have to decide upon, maybe it's already been decided upon tonight. Is it going to tell us what that is? But that is something we have to do. You want to fill us in on that?
I can do a quick
Thank you.
kickoff to Michelle. So the next couple items, so tracking of hours, work plan with the DC Climate Smart Communities Grant. I've asked Michelle to attend and get a brief overview for the committee on what that entails.
Okay. I was actually just pulling up to see what we said we were gonna do for this committee as far as the number of hours. So the grant that we got is through the DC State Department, and it's for the Climate Smart Communities Program, which the town has been certified or was certified through the Climate Smart Communities since I think it was like 2014. I wanna say.
It's later than that, but we still are certified.
Oh, okay. Is the reason I thought that it lapsed?
It will in the end of September.
Oh, okay, all right, so, so we're certified as a bronze community, which means that there's been activities associated with climate change and sustainability that the town has undergone to, not just accumulate points, but, you know, onboarding programs and a variety of activities that the town's been engaged in. So the town was eligible for this grant program, and it is a 50-50 grant program, which means that there's a 50% local share requirement. And your hours of volunteer time here help contribute towards the local match. Is it minimum wage? Yes, it is. Unless the way that the program requirements are written is if you're donating general committee time, then it's minimum wage. But if you're a specialist that has a specialty that you're contributing outside of above and beyond committee hours, then that can be matched with a professional wage standard that are set by DEC. But so everybody involved in the comprehensive plan update, all volunteers will need to track their hours that go towards this update. And we have a timesheet that is meant as sort of like a, I don't know, maybe like a 3-month or something like that timesheet. The time period is not set. It's not set in stone, but it's meant to be sort of like a laundry list that you can keep a couple months worth of time tracking on it. And I think the question here today is how the committee would like to track and submit those, whether it's electronic or hard copy. And I think that is basically it when it comes to timesheets, just that every hour counts. I would say 15-minute increments, unless that's a burden on you. But we track, you know, operationally, our timesheets are by 15 minutes. That's just the easy way to go. So, yeah, I think that's the basic gist. Originally, when I was talking to Niels about this earlier, I was saying that on my end, as far as the administrative side of things go, that it would really be nice if the committee could do hard copy or electronic and just decide which one's which. But I think, Niels, I was just being anal and that doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. It's based on like whatever's easiest for everybody. I can create like a Google Drive for you to do something, you know, to track your hours or hard copy, whatever your preference is. So, you know, including today, and actually including anytime after March 14th of this year, will be eligible. So, Niels, I don't know, we can just provide an electronic version and a hard copy to everybody.
Yeah, and if you do hard copies, please just email those to me. Taking care of them.
When do you, sorry, I missed this. Do you need them like every month?
We don't
You
know
just
yet
need them-
exactly when. Yeah, it might be that we just do it all at the end, but making sure, well, we probably should collect it at least quarterly at this point. That might change. I don't know how there's a lot of unknowns when it comes to how we're going to be reporting and interacting with the DEC as far as our program manager goes for this funding. So we'll be on our toes around all that and keep the steering committee updated as we know more. So
If you made an Excel spreadsheet that you would end up accumulating these or adding them all up, and then like if you give me a copy, I'll email it to you. I work best that way. But if you had like everybody using the same kind of spreadsheet, you know, big hours activity or something, and is that a tool that works? If everybody uses Excel, that would be otherwise.
it's based in Excel.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So would you want it to be everyone doing individual Excel? Do you want to do a Google, you know, spreadsheet where it's just populated?
I think probably each committee member having access to their record alone makes the most sense.
Okay,
For data management purposes.
and you have that created already? And
Yep.
so you'll send that to us?
Yeah, we'll have, Niels will distribute it once we.
Or we can just, is there a way to put it on the web so that we can just
Yep.
add it in and it just stays there and accumulates and we don't have to keep Emailing it, saving it, updating it,
Yeah.
whatever works.
We can do Google Doc.
I mean, most
I mean,
people work that
honestly,
way. I do not handle Google Docs.
Oh, it's Google
Because
Docs.
we do Outlook and
No, that's
Google
fine.
Docs doesn't work, but for most people, they
No,
do.
I just thought maybe it's.
And no, it works for
Dropbox or
most
something
people.
like that, there's a spreadsheet.
If, going down a different rabbit hole, if we go with our consultant and get out of this, or I'm presuming we're going to go to Microsoft. with Not Google Docs, so is that going to be a problem if we start with Google Docs?
No, all that kind of thing will be migrated.
So for 3 months, we can do it on Google Docs and then.
Or just whatever works, just send me the spreadsheets. I didn't know if there was another way to have a repository. on Google.
I'm pretty flexible, so whatever works best for, I mean, so you're the one that needs to validate all of this and what works best for the group is okay with me, so.
I would say where I currently stand is whatever is going to be easiest for all of you to maintain an accurate log of how much time you've been committing to this process. You know, the easiest thing possible for you is what is going to be best for me. So,
Does anyone have any other input on that?
I'll just share my management tip. I live in the Google environment and, but Google is not very helpful with how you file things, so you never can find anything.
Fair.
Well, more of all the drives.
So what we do now is with the meetings, so what I would do personally is if you shared a spreadsheet, I would convert it into a Google sheet and put that link in my calendar event, in my repeating calendar event. So I just go to the calendar event and can find the sheet and fill it out. So
yeah,
that's what I would do to manage my own, but.
useful tip.
Yeah, well, if everyone, I think we have to decide, right, for how we're gonna do this now until we have our consultant. Right?
No, this is just a component that we'll keep doing even when we have consultants.
Yeah,
But you're talking about the IT consultant, not the.
Yeah,
consultant.
yeah.
Yeah.
okay. Do we wanna just do it, are we doing all of the above, or are we doing just an Excel spreadsheet and we all just submit that to you when you ask for it?
Yeah.
I think that
Quarterly,
sounds like a for
yeah.
everybody.
That seems like the easiest for
So-
everyone.
Submitting an Excel spreadsheet quarterly.
I think so, and then if it's designed, where the quarters are broken out, and we can just, have tabs, whatever,
We get tabs.
and that's something you'll create.
Yep, okay, yep. Well, Neil will distribute it.
Okay.
I'll finish it up based on this conversation.
Okay. Do we need to do anything with that? We're good, okay. Anybody else or anything else on that? If not, we'll move on to continued committee membership outreach, which is item 4C2. We have a few positions open still that are vacant. We also still, right, we have 2 for the ag community, 1 for business.
One potential for business. And potentially can fill that role if we don't get someone for business.
Okay, and then 1 additional community member and 1 village liaison.
Correct.
Okay. So what do we need to decide in this section? Are we deciding how we're gonna fill those positions, or are we?
More discussion for the board and brainstorming.
Okay.
Get more. I had a question for you on outreach to the village. Do we have someone already? Does anyone show some interest?
So what we can do is I can take it directly to the village board and they might have ideas if someone would like to see. And the reason is they finished up their comp plan, I don't know, 18 months ago, a year ago. And so originally when we had a village liaison position, it was to help coordinate with their planning so that we're not planning in a village vacuum. But that's been a longer time frame, so I can reach out. I'm happy to reach out on that.
And that would be somebody on the village board or just
No.
someone who lives in the village.
No, the idea originally was to get somebody who was on the village's comprehensive planning committee
To make sure
to
the plan.
have, if there was anyone willing after that long ordeal. So to help coordinate so that we were thinking about overlapping issues potentially. Like that would be a board member.
Did you find some?
Well, the bill, I was, honestly, we waited, there was no board to bring them on to. And so I reached out to the village, I don't know, 9 months ago. And, the mayor had a couple ideas, but I just need to follow up. So I can do that. It's a non-voting member, so it was more of a coordinating position.
Okay. Thank you for doing that. Caitlin, do we have a time frame on when we need to have all these spots filled?
Our board meets on the second and fourth Wednesday. Tuesdays, and you need information before, preferably the Wednesday before.
Yeah, probably the Wednesday before a board meeting. So for like next week, it would be tomorrow.
But we don't need to make these decisions like tomorrow. It can be like, as we're going out and we're talking to people, say, hey, we really do need other representatives. Like, I know we're gonna be planning another ag meeting.
Yeah.
Getting those folks, like, I know we had a couple people who were interested. I kind of wanted to see how things shaped out today too, and then I'm gonna actually be calling them.
Yeah, oh, good. Okay, so for the ag positions, you might have,
I'm gonna try, working.
Would it be useful to have,
Wednesday.
you're still working on it too.
would it be useful to have somebody from the Taganic Park? I mean, since that's kind of like core to our identity.
We did, Neil and I did talk about that, and I did reach out to Fred Vaughn, who I happen to know, we have kids grew up together. But there was somebody who actually works at the park, his position could not serve, because of the just the conflict there. But, I don't know if there's some other person who's maybe not in the same position or similar position as him that could participate. I don't know anyone else.
Okay. I mean, I know somebody works there, and Nate Baker now, is there, on the landscape. Yeah,
He is.
yeah, he's done well. Somebody worked with us, but he is a staff member. Is there no staff members? can be
I don't
part of
think
it?
that's, do you know what he said in that email?
I think it was concerned about his position.
I think it might be his position.
We can reach out to an individual who's there and see if he's interested.
That would be great.
That would be a resident of town of Ulysses.
He's not a resident now, he goes ahead and then, but he works at the parks.
Mark Darling too, anyone know him? He was our founding board president. I know he sat on the city's public works committee in Ithaca. I don't know if he lives in town of Ulysses or if he lives in Trumansburg, but I think he moved back out this way. I'm not in touch with him, but he works for the Park Service, but more lower level, but he was the sustainability coordinator for Ithaca College. He has a lot of,
He sounds perfect.
chops and knowledge. I could see if he's, so does he have to be a resident of the town? Preferably, is that?
It's preferable. I mean, I think especially with like, there's not a legal requirement. Especially we have a number of farmers who farm in Ulysses and they don't live in Ulysses and can still represent, farm related issues. So right now there are spaces for two agricultural members and one more community member, right? Or at a business. So we're hoping to pigeon them into those particular, that's what the town board establishes the positions.
So you don't want somebody from the park.
We did create a position for somebody from the park, and if he lives in the area or he lives in Ulysses, and he wouldn't serve as a park representative, but he would serve as a member of the community, and that certainly doesn't prohibit him from bringing a park perspective, certainly.
Sounds like your person's better than ours. Mine doesn't look good.
I can ask him where he lives.
Yeah.
And see if he's interested.
Thank you, Jane.
Yeah, so just a clarification on what we need for question. So the outline that the board adopted of the committee was one to two members of the ag committee. So if we can't find two, we could have somebody in another space since we're having trouble even finding one. And then it was 2 to 3 community members. So, and it was one town board member, but we have 2. So does that takes away one of the other positions? I'm just trying to figure out who are we, like, where are we
Yeah.
recruiting, since I'm feeling just a little confused, as well. Not being grateful, just trying to get it straight. So seems like if we're lucky to get one ag member, then that's one other space for a community member.
Yeah, I mean, on the
Unless we
ag,
have two town board members and then that cancels that out. So then we still would have 2 to 3 community members and 1 business, so.
on the ag, I think it was also just an understanding of the expectation of meetings and so forth. It wasn't clear when we had our meeting in January or March, how many times we were gonna meet, so trying to convince somebody who's out in the field
Right.
every
No,
single
I'm just
day.
talking
So I
about-
think now that we have like a definition of
Right.
our expectation of meetings, we can definitely bring in somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just, in terms of the total number, that it was gonna be 9, so we were trying to see how that was spread out when this was passed. Anyway, it looks like we at least can use one ag member, another community member and or business person, and Diane would be community member. Is that correct? Yeah. That's good.
All right. So any other discussion, so Liz has someone she's going to talk with to, Diane has someone you're gonna check with, park representative, you're gonna ask, Caitlin about the village liaison person. So is there any other recruitment that's needed? I know we have one community member kind of out there pending, but is there anything we're missing here?
Yeah, one of the things that we talked about internally is in previous town planning iterations, the ag community has expressed concerns about not being included, which would seem counterintuitive based on the fact that we've not yet been able to recruit. But something that we're going to do that was recommended to me that I thought was a very good idea was now that we have confirmed times, we're gonna do an actual mailing in addition to the outreach, because I'd like to be able to demonstrate that we literally did everything we possibly could to get agricultural representation from the ground, from the ground floor of this committee. But even if they don't join, so they can know when they can join, they can attend remotely, they can, all that good stuff. Now that we have kind of the parameters, to Liz's point, I think maybe it won't be easier, but it will be more transparent about what they're being asked to do, because many people feel overwhelmed, and I would imagine in planting season, this is a busy time to add something else in.
Right.
So that's something we'll take care of that internally inside town.
Okay. So any other discussion or needs on that? Niels, is that fulfill your what discussed? Okay, next item is the committee membership training. So I think Niels, you were going to discuss this topic with us.
So as part of the work plan and the grant that Michelle discussed was component of that is community membership training. So hopefully everyone was able to, I guess one is a question, were you all able to bring up this sheet as part of the agenda? And then, so under 1C is a list of items that will help community members get up to speed. So we have the comprehensive plan, the 2009 comprehensive plan. There's the future land use plan that's associated with that from 2009. We have the natural resource inventory of 2018, the ag and farm protection plan of 2013. We also have a Route 96 border management study that was on Liga Lake Scenic Byway. A couple other things here, but there's a lot of information here to digest. It can be easily overwhelming. I think the overarching one is comfortability with the existing comp plan and knowing the structure of the comp plan and what goes into a comp plan and an update. So I am here to help answer questions anyone may have on the process on this whole thing. Please feel free to reach out to me and use me as a resource. But as part of our grant with DEC is this training component and making sure that all community members, as a group as a whole, are comfortable in the position, but also individually. So if there isn't any kind of, please reach out. Let me know. And or if there's additional information under 1C that you feel should be there as part of the committee's education and understanding, please let me know. I'll research that and try to get a PDF copy so we all can have it.
So, I attended a few different things that all kind of relate to comprehensive planning that I get, mostly because of the CSAP and all, but, and then at the end of those, they always give you either a link to the slideshow or a PDF of it or something, and so I was wondering if, you know, as people do those, instead of sending out an email to everybody, oh, you might be interested in this, I did that for a little bit, but maybe we can figure out a place to put it in, so then we can just put the links to those things once you get them, and then people could look at those if they're particularly, you know, interested in that aspect, but a lot of it relates to comprehensive, like I did one that was done by the Climate Smart Communities on comprehensive planning, and also the climate vulnerability assessment. It was a two-part, one was greenhouse gases and one was climate vulnerability. And so there's that really, the second part speaks to what we said in here. So if we could figure out a way to put them somewhere, like on a piece of the website that, you know, accesses whatever.
Resource section.
Yeah, a research section, that would be really great. And then I can just send them and we can stick them up there.
Yep.
For anybody else who gets things when they go to those meetings.
Yep. So currently,
You don't have like our zoning, which is really kind of like, here's where we currently are, and because the comprehensive plan will be kind of using that as the base, like, are we gonna change this? Are we happy with this? So, I mean, only because we use it in the planning board all the time, it's like, you don't have to memorize all the details, but it might be useful for people to have, because of what our current zoning is, the current zoning map, and you don't have that listed as like background information. I would put that up there.
that's true. Yeah. So let's get down to this rabbit hole, but it's a good point, because I've heard town board members and other members say that the comprehensive plan, if you're concerned about zoning, is the comp plan is related to zoning, or it's like hand in hand.
It's like a foundation for it.
It's a foundation, that's a good point, because the comprehensive plan is looking at the town at a 3,000 foot elevation, 20 years on the road.
Yep.
The zoning code is like the building code, plumbing code, fire code, it's on the ground, you know, working. So a component of the comprehensive plan is land use, which deals with how much density do we want in a particular area, what's the sort of land uses. But it really is the big picture. Zoning is, in my professional opinion, too narrowly focused, and I think it's not a good practice to put the cart before the horse, so to speak. If you're concerned about like 400-foot frontage that keeps coming up, that should not be in the discussion of comp plan. We should be talking about broad picture concepts of use, density, things of that nature when it comes to zoning. But you have environmental factors like a climate action plan, water source plan. You have issues of economic viability and sustainability, historic preservation, parks. All these are part of the comp plan. So hopefully people don't get too pigeonholed.
Sure. If it comes up later where we say, oh, we would help to look at it, to go and put it up.
But to your question, so on if you go to boards and committees on the webpage, now we have one for comp plan or comprehensive plan steering committee. I'm still getting used to how it all works on the back end to program that. But right now we have a section for library, which is what I'll bring into it. I'd like to eventually get that cleaned up so that we have kind of like our town board and planning board, something that is specific just for the comprehensive plan steering committee, but have a separate page for this comp plan update where all that information will be housed. We'll have links to the YouTube videos and everything else like that. Yes, there will be a document library. So send me whatever information you have.
And so that will just be accessible to the people on this committee, not to the general public.
Well, on the webpage, it would be open to the public.
Well, I just don't, I mean, I guess they don't care if you register and then they send you the materials because you were a participant. I just don't know if maybe those groups don't care if you post it on a public website, but they might, I don't know. So I was thinking more about just resources that we could access that weren't, because I don't know, maybe no one cares, but I guess I prefer not to do that, if not knowing.
Yeah. There's a sensitivity. One thing I'm hoping we can do once we get our IT consultant is get SharePoint up. And that's something that can be both internal and external. Until that time, I think our only option is Google Docs, but I have a concern with Google Docs being secure. I know it's not a very secure environment.
Well, you could just send it as emails into them if you want or something. It's not, I think the SharePoint.
SharePoint's great.
Yeah.
It's so much easier. Just kind of stepping back, if anybody has never been involved in a comp plan or never reviewed one, Michael actually had picked up these things at AOT, and they're very good documents, just high level, what goes into comp plans. They're available from the OGS. So I'll see if I'm pretty sure all those things
They're online.
are
Yeah, they're
online.
online.
Yeah.
So, but I can just find the links because they're just high level.
Yeah.
Like what to be thinking about for housing or environmental resources and sustainability resources and all that stuff.
Great.
There's a really good one from Pace also.
Okay, so our intention was to have it in an hour, we have 6:02, so apologies. Last kind of item here is next, anything else on that before we move on? Okay, good. So next steps, we have consultant RFP process and we have public participation plan draft. Michelle, is there anything else? I know you kind of talked to us already about, what's going on with the consultant a little bit. Do you want to give us a quick update on that process?
Sure, yeah, thanks for circling back to that. Right now where it's at, is we submitted a work plan, which is more detailed than this, but this is the skeleton of the work plan and a budget, when we submitted this grant. And it's now currently in the DEC's hands, and they will be making modifications to the extent we haven't been able to ascertain. But because we wrote the grant in lockstep with the program requirements that we know for the different elements of having a comp plan update with sustainability elements, I don't anticipate there's going to be huge changes, but our program manager did use the word significant changes when she told me about what was happening. So I just wanted to just put that out there that we're not sure what's coming. We're hoping it's reasonable, but I don't think it's going to impact the steering committee to a great extent. But just know that that work plan you'll see some modifications once we get that back from the DEC. So that's the only thing that I think we haven't covered as far as that goes. When it comes to the consultant RFP process, we will be adhering to the town's procurement policies, which are fairly stringent. The thing that we need to wait until we have more firm contact with our DEC program manager. Her name's Mara Luis, so you'll be hearing that name a lot. Lovely name. Some programs require that you have MWBE or veteran participation in the procurement, and since we only have one shot, we only are procuring one thing, which is a consultant. We need to have better understanding about what those program requirements are going to be prior to really hiring somebody. So that's nothing that's going to hold us back on the process. It's just things to keep in mind. So.
Are you saying, sorry, just to clarify, you need a way to promote that out to WMBE groups?
Maybe. So the preliminary conversation that I had was that because this is basically just a planning grant versus a capital, the grant funds aren't going to be capital based, infrastructure based. They're going to be, or project based. It's going to be a planning grant. So I think there's a bunch of exceptions with planning grants in the DEC, but I haven't had enough time with Mara Louise yet to really get a firm answer from her. She is more of a, don't worry about that right now. And I'm like, you don't know what kind of planners we are. We are worrying about everything way in advance. Is how we like to do things anyway. So The answer is I don't think so. If we do, we will be using the methods that we, yeah, well, yeah, yeah. We'll be using our normal procurement routes to ensure that we canvas fully in order to get the response we need. And going through, I know that there's talk about, we're gonna be thoroughly recruiting for whatever consultant we'll be using. And we'll be doing that knowing exactly what our MWB and whatnot requirements, that's BOB, I think, service veteran, something or other, OB. So, we're on that soon.
Great, thank you. Roxanne?
Just a question, are we gonna be developing, or at least, reviewing the RFP, what we're gonna be, this committee, what we're asking for and what we think is important? So how's that process gonna happen? If we're doing this meetings once a month, we're just trying to see how the timing is gonna go with the planning committee. That could go like really slowly unless we have an extra meeting to look at that or something. Did you have any thoughts on that? Yeah.
Neil, do you want to take that one or do you want me to?
If I got the question, I believe once we're at that right stage, yeah, the committee will have an active role in that. And then when it comes down to actual vetting, I believe the committee can make a motion and send it to the town board, and then the representative for the committee can go to the town board and say, let's go. But I believe it's the town board that needs to make that decision on the point.
Oh, we would hire for sure. I'm just saying, like, getting it out there so that what we're advertising, what the RFP says.
Right, I would anticipate that the staff internally will prepare an RFP for review by the committee. So the committee can provide feedback and recommendations for alterations, but the base will be created by staff. So we can best efficiently use volunteer resources.
Right, so then the timing of that is just, we try to have that for the next meeting as a draft, even though, just because, then we could be ready when you get the okay, otherwise it'll be many more months. I'm just trying to see, that seems like an important kind of next step, because that is a slow process. Once you put it out there, you wait for responses and everything like that. So would that be a target thing for next time?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Well, because we don't have to follow open meetings law in the same way the town board does. We can also, depending on timing, maybe not for the RFP, but for other things, there can be documents that are shared and people can provide feedback between meetings. And so we can move things through that way also for review.
Okay, great. Anything else on the consultant RFP process? The last item here is the public participation plan draft, and we also think that is you telling us something.
Something.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
No, kind of similar to the process.
It's a wonderful drive.
So similar to the, I guess, the process that we just talked about, the RFP, I have a draft public participation plan that I've been working on that I can share for next meetings, start May. Basically, a public participation plan is good practice. It's not required, but it is good practice in showing the community how this committee and the towns have always been doing outreach. And there's a number of components. You have things like identifying our stakeholders, the process of how we're going to public engage, and general timeline of start to finish where we're going to go. And it should act as a living document so that as hiccups come up, hiccups are going to come up, we can amend this as needed. But that's another document that can be shared internally and discussions outside. So that hopefully, but yeah, that will be on the agenda next week. Next week.
And you will maybe share something prior to that so we can review it.
Just like
Okay, any comments, questions, things to say?
I have one more. Sorry, but I'm just wondering if maybe next, we should just think of, or what does the committee feel like, thinking that the window might be up to an hour and a half for the meeting. Next, because, I mean, already,
Well, I think we are.
If we're reviewing and discussing two particular things there, an hour might not be quite enough. I mean, it might be, but if people thought that it might not be, it might be worth putting in your calendar, just asking.
We spent quite a bit of time introducing ourselves. We shouldn't have to do probably, I guess, in the future. Maybe quick intros. Maybe roll call, but
Right.
I'll say that, well, that's true. I don't know, does anyone have any comments or?
I mean, that 30 minutes to me is not a big deal if we pencil it in. Hopefully everybody will be able to read both the draft RFP and I want to call it a public involvement and participation plan, because that's what I do at work. The PIP, but that's what it's called. But the PPP, if we can all make sure, like, we try to read that like thoroughly and bring our comments and have an open discussion and not be trying to figure things out. I think that would be good, but I don't mind extending the next meeting a little bit.
Let's target an hour. Let's pencil an hour and a half. How's that?
Yeah, that's what that's great.
We'll definitely stop at an hour and a half. But we'll shoot for an hour. Thank you. Anyone else? Anything to add? Okay, so that's it. We just need someone to make a motion to adjourn. Great. Okay, when you're second, thanks everybody.
Thank you for being the chair. That's take work. Thank you much.
Thanks, Niels, for upping the.
Oh, yeah. Those are transferred in.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
You just said yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So you know what, that really zoomed
Well,
in.
But maybe it's, but we want people.
I'll do an
introduction.
I think it's a.
Oh, that's the audio.
Thanks.